What we're doing here is thinking about ways in which universities can collaborate and network to better implement the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. And then on the other hand, you've also got advocates who've argued for and fought for Indigenous people's rights, both at the international and domestic level.
A lot of the people here are Indigenous experts who've been involved with the United Nations. Some people have been working in this area for many, many decades.
We are here because we need this time to think together. Because very often when we do this work in our corners in academia, we feel alone.
In virtually all countries where we have Indigenous peoples living, they are behind the non-Indigenous populations. We have a life expectancy that's shorter, child mortality, infant mortality, maternal mortality, and so on. All of these indicators, we see that we need to do better.
There is a resurgence like never before, where communities are coming together and establishing a fight-back strategy based on the concept of love and caring.
Today we've gathered a group of scholars and human rights practitioners from different places in the world talking about the roles of activists in international human rights courts. One of the major themes that we've been hearing about today is backlash by governments against international human rights courts and the very activists who are trying to defend human rights in their home countries. So we're trying to strategize what kinds of research can really help in understanding the backlash by governments that's taking place and develop tools for resisting that backlash.
I think from our perspective as a human rights organization, this is really useful to make sure that we're being as effective as we can be and to see what innovations are happening in other spheres.
Academics might be off collecting data on one set of questions. Organizations might be in dire need of sets of data, and bringing those two activities together could be way more efficient and effective.
Today we're organizing a workshop on the topic of the survival of defective democracies in the Andean region of South America, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia. We're trying to figure out how to best understand the political dynamics and what the prospects are for democracy in these countries looking to the future.
The Andean region is very important to understand the differences in democratic regimes throughout developing economies. What are the ways in which democracy works or just doesn't work?
It's been very illuminating to understand some common elements in our countries and trying to come up with a common understanding, common ideas, common definitions, and common measurements to evaluate the situation in our region.
We all bring different experiences, we all bring different perspectives to the table. We often come from different disciplines. Today we come from different countries. And so it's really invaluable to sort of how we understand what's happening in the region, that we can bring in those different perspectives, bring in those different experiences.